karma finally caught up to him. So today we have a video featuring our favorite leftist destiny. It comes from the Iced Coffee Hour Clips channel. Their channel will be linked in the description of the video so that you can go check them out and support them. Watch it as a video to fully understand why karma has finally caught up to Destiny, who is a hardcore leftist. He was in an open marriage. His wife left him, and now he's basically crying on every podcast under the sun. Don't forget to follow us on Rumble. You never really know what will happen on this platform, so you can go ahead and follow us on Rumble to support us there and ensure you will always be able to.
Divorce right now.
I'm done with my divorce.
You're done with a divorce right now.
I heard divorces could take a very long time.
No contest divorce, like 2 weeks.
Really?
You just sign the papers and send them to a judge, and they look at it and they give you a judgment, and you're done. Yeah.
And you had a prenup?
No.
How
it was
is
a short marriage. It was like less than 5 years.
So what does that mean if it's a short marriage versus a long marriage?
Longer marriage, there's going to be a stronger case to be made for alimony, but it also depends on if the earning potentials of your partner was hurt, so if they stopped working, or if you've got children or shared assets or anything like that. Yeah.
You were in an open marriage, which means each partner can sleep with other people and have these like kind of micro relationships with other people. A lot of people were speculating that it would eventually fail. What is your response to those people that say, what did you think was going to happen?
I mean, most relationships fail. I had 4 monogamous ones before this open one, and they all failed.
That is true.
Most relationships fail.
I guess the difference was that you weren't married to those.
I was married to my high school girlfriend. Yeah.
Okay.
Got
me.
So, I mean, most relationships fail. The next relationship, I mean, I can make a prediction. The next relationship will definitely be an open relationship because it's probably the only style I would do, and that one will probably fail as well. I mean, just statistically speaking, like, yeah, it will probably happen.
Were there signs that it was going in this direction ahead of time?
Yeah, for sure. But there were just things I had to learn about myself that
What'd you have to learn about yourself?
I think because of the way that I grew up, I'm very much I have to do everything, and I'm like very, very, very independent. And I always thought that was a really good character trait. And I think it is for like business stuff, but I think for relationships, I think it's really bad because you tend to take, rather than ever assigning any responsibility or blame to my partner, I would just assume that I need to figure out everything for myself. And then I'm also like very not reliant on my partner for anything, which I also thought was like a benefit, but it's not. It just makes the other person feel like unwanted or unneeded.
Go into that a little bit more because I don't want to say I'm similar, but I'm very much the same way where if something happens, deep down, I look to myself and I'm like, how could I have handled that? Because you can't dictate what another person's going to respond with or do. And I look at that and like, how can I improve myself? Where did I go wrong?
Yeah.
And I like to think of myself as like very independent, and I don't want to like throw too much on my partner.
So I think the issue here is every single piece of advice I'm about to give, a lot of the people that say this are actually the most energy vampiric subhuman piece of shit bucks in the world. So it's hard. It's like that whenever you see somebody tweet like, oh, like everybody around me always needs so much and I wish somebody would just like take care of me for once. 99% of the time, that's an energy fucking vampire, okay, who actually is the most like energy consuming, sucking person that doesn't help anybody else out except for when it can benefit them, blah, 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 blah. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. Maybe I am that person. Basically, I would get into conflict where it felt like my partner was able to justify every bad action they did on my prior bad actions. And I had done bad things. Like, I'm not perfect. I do fuck up. I make mistakes. But every time they made a mistake, it was because of mistakes that I'd made. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, fuck. Like, well, what can I do to change this in the future? Like, can I do this, or can I change this, or can I do that? And every time there was a fault that was my fault, it's my fault, and I'll do what I can for it. And then I'll see what behaviors I can change. But I never could like tell my partner like, hey, can you not do this, or can you make this change, or can you stop this behavior? Because then it was like the end of the world. So, but I set that dynamic up because I'd gone through the whole relationship never being able to make any asks for anything in terms of behavior from the other person, and it kind of was not good, I think. Yeah.
Got it. So in a new relationship, you're gonna be more outspoken?
Yeah, I just have a hard time asking for things from people. I kind of just like meme and joke, even professionally sometimes. I've gotten better at it recently, the past like 2 years especially, but I'll kind of like, if somebody's making me uncomfortable, I'll usually just like meme or joke it off, or it's whatever, until they reach a breaking point, and then I cut them out of my life completely. And for a lot of people, that's really confusing because they're like, okay, well, hold on, how did I just get cut out completely? I didn't know I was even bothering you. And it's like, well, and then I'll say something like, well, come on, you should have known, this is obvious. But then when I think about it, it's actually not obvious because I laugh and meme everything off, so it's like people don't actually know.
Did this come out of the blue for you?
No, I don't think so. No.
Is there anything you would have done differently leading up to the situation that happened?
Like getting divorced or?
No, I'm talking about maybe you could have done something prior to then that maybe would have had a different outcome, or you could have saved something.
I think my general behavior in the relationship of not like putting like very not being able to make asks for things or accepting or tolerating certain types of behavior that are probably not okay, I guess. So like having like I need somebody that shares my values in terms of what's important and what's not important in a relationship, I guess. Yeah. And if somebody doesn't share those same values, so for instance, like trashing your partner to another person, to another friend, that's something that I traditionally would never do that. And I need somebody that like is aligned on that. And if I let somebody else do that and I'm like, well, they view things differently than I do, whatever, that's probably not a good thing, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
You seem to be very matter of fact about it. How did it affect you personally or emotionally going through something like this? Was it really challenging? Because it's kind of weird hearing you talk about it in such a, I would say, nonchalant way.
Yeah, my emotional baseline is just really, really, really high. So as long as I'm not like my life isn't fucked, if I go to sleep, I wake up, I'm usually a little bit better, every day. And I just kind of, keep going.
Do you ever wish you had more emotional variance?
I don't think so, maybe. I'm not sure. I've talked to a few people, Dr. K, a couple other people about that. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if I miss some things in life because my emotional variance maybe isn't that high, but I don't think so. I think I'm doing fine.
Because being super sad can be a really pleasant experience, oddly enough, because you can find the beauty in the sadness.
Maybe. I mean,
it's all part of the experience.
Fuck that. No, I don't think
You don't think so at all?
Fuck that. No, it doesn't sound like fun to me.
Interesting. Like watching a sad movie.
Yeah, that's definitely.
I would say that's kind of like a proxy for what I'm saying.
Okay, then I do sadness by proxy. Then okay.
Interesting. Well, I respect the emotional baseline. Do you think that most people have more control over their emotions than what they think?
Probably not. Most people probably have less control over their emotions than they think. That's true for me. I think there are times where I'll just be a fucking dick, and I'm just being not a fun person to be around. And then I'll like eat a meal, and after I eat, I'm like, oh shit, I think I was hungry for like the past 6 hours because I feel so much better now. I'll go back to my chat and unban like 6 people that I banned because I was just like in a fucking whatever mood. So yeah, I think that most people's moods or vibes are impacting their emotional state more than they realize sometimes.
The chemical reactions going on in the brain
whatever's happening there.
That's really interesting. I'm more of a proponent of like, I think people can force feeling whatever way nearly at every given situation. Obviously there are certain random statistical anomaly, like bad stuff will happen.
So, I mean, here's the situation with this guy. He allowed his wife to be out there in the streets. She was on OnlyFools, or rather another platform very similar to OnlyFools, and she was selling her content on there. She was also on live streams where she was streaming, and she was with other OnlyFools models, and she was completely unclothed. And this is the lifestyle that she lived. It's very easy to find her content. And she ultimately left him for some other guy who Destiny labeled as a very mentally ill individual, and all kinds of stuff. He slandered the guy. But the reality is that I've seen her streams with this guy now, and she seems to be happier with him. The honest to goodness truth is that, Destiny created a very toxic environment, and he did not make her feel safe in the relationship. Despite the fact that she says one thing, she wants another thing. Women want a man who is strong. Women want a man who is going to say no. Destiny basically could not say no. He basically allowed her to walk all over him in the relationship. He was accommodating in every way, and his behavior was pretty negative. They would, for example, basically, Destiny is bi, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but they would, hook up with like the same person. So after she would be done with a guy, Destiny would be, going, that guy would start, going to town with Destiny. And it's like, how is it that, you just watched your wife be physically intimate with another dude, and, the back got blown out, and now she's watching you like 5-10 minutes later, get your back blown out, and then you expect her to still respect you. It's like, she knows you're a guy, but she's probably like watching, and she's like, okay, so, I get it. Because in her, like, lady brain, she's like, oh, so you're a girl too. You're a girl too. And it's like, bro, she cannot respect you in a masculine way because she's observing you from a feminine perspective, because you are taking that feminine role and you are consuming masculine energy in a feminine way when the back is blown out. And I'm being very, very honest about this. and he's been extremely open about this lifestyle that he was living, and if he tries to like counter it and say, well, that's not true, it really is. For example, she basically looked at him kind of like a girl, and as a result of that, eventually she got fed up and she just left the relationship. And in every relationship he's been in, it's been an absolute failure. He just outright said that the next relationship will be a monogamous relation, will likely be an open marriage as well, open relationship as well, and that relationship will also fail. And this is the person that's constantly lecturing others about morality, what's right, what's wrong, and everything else under the sun. Like Destiny is far, far, and then some more far, far left. He is one of those AOC types of people, and he's extremely self-righteous. You will never reach him. And you don't need to reach him. The only types of people that really should speak to Destiny are people like Ben Shapiro when it comes to debating points, because Den is not really trying to convince Destiny. He's basically trying to convince others that are listening to him debate Destiny. That's the honest to goodness truth. And I just feel like karma finally caught up to him after all the bad juju that this man has put into this world. It finally affected him, and to be honest, he really seems that he does not care. But I think he does care deep down. He is hurt that his wife left him. He is hurt that he is alone now. He is saddened over it. And it's like, what kind of marriage were you actually in? What did you really expect from this relationship? And there are videos I saw, for example, like, him and her were like in an event. I don't know. I think it was like a convention, and she's there with some black dude, and she starts like kissing the black dude and everything, and he gets really, really nervous and tries to split them up. And it's like, bro, you have an open marriage, you have an open relationship, and then you start panicking when you see this woman, see your wife getting, intimate immediately with some other dude, and you're like, oh, come on, we're gonna cut that out right now. Cut it out, dude. You created this environment. You gave her permission to do this. This is the lifestyle you're living, but at the same time, it's clear that you're not happy in paradise with it. In other words, it's a form of, not only it's a form of settling, but it's also toxic because you don't know how to say no. And it's like it's a the lifestyle he's living, it's 100% a path to destruction. It absolutely is. It destroyed his marriage. It's destroying his life. And and anyone who goes down that path is basically headed for a path of destruction as well. It's a cautionary tale that everyone can absolutely learn from. Don't be like Destiny. Don't do what Destiny did, because Destiny made very, very poor choices, very, very poor decisions, and now these are the results of those decisions. This is the outcome of those decisions. Stay off the streets. Focus on your relationship with God. Focus on getting your money. Focus on crypto. Do not focus on the streets. And I've already said this before. The streets lead to the church, and the church leads back to the streets. So stay off the streets and stay out of the church. What you should be focusing on is developing a better relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ, and working on and learning about crypto and investing in crypto. Because I've already told you that hard times are coming, guys. Just like what happened in Greece, where the ATMs stopped working, the banks chained the doors, people could only get $50 out of the ATMs that did work every single day. People lost their entire life savings. You had teenagers selling physical intimacy for €3, and this was like 10 years ago. And you jerks were like angry that's still €2 too many. Don't be like these people, all right? Because we know what's happening, especially with Trump establishing the crypto reserve, $1 trillion crypto reserve. What is coming is the crash of the United States dollar and a new emergence of crypto as the currency that will be the backbone of the global economy. Do not forget that BRICS is also going to be a blockchain-based platform, and it's going to use a blockchain-based crypto, obviously, a blockchain-based cryptocurrency, as well as other cryptocurrencies. And Bitcoin will be at the center of that chain, potentially also coins like XRP, which is why you need to learn about crypto, so that you can protect your wealth and safeguard your future with crypto. Because my money is safe in crypto. My funds are safe in crypto. I can always access them. I can always withdraw them. I can always convert them. You can't do that. Anger's Crypto Academy teaches you how to buy, sell, trade, and invest in crypto. And we'll also tell you exactly which coins will mint you millionaires and how to spot potential coins to invest in. So don't miss out right now. We actually have a discount happening over in the Academy, 40% off right now. And the Academy's linked inscription video if you want to go and check that out and safeguard your future. But guys like Destiny, they didn't protect their future just like they didn't protect their wives. They didn't, I mean, how can you call that love? If you enable this person, if all you do is enable them and tell them they can do whatever the hell they want, then what do you think? That's not love. That's enabling. It's like when you're dealing with an addict and you give them whatever they want and you're an enabler until they finally pass and you're like, well, I did the best I could. No, you didn't. That was not love. That was enabling them. And you ultimately played a role in destroying their lives. And I'm not saying that this woman is innocent, but I will say this right now: that Destiny, as a man, did not take his masculine role. He did not take the role that he is designed to take, and to be a leader, a provider, and a protector, and slamming that door shut and saying no. He didn't stop. Like, she clearly has an issue, and he could have put an end to it and said, no, we're not going to do this. But he chose to go down that path, and now he's crying all over the internet that this happened, like he's surprised, which is, I think, absolutely wrong. Like, little bro, you chose this for yourself, so take accountability for it. But you can see that's how he does. He dances around it like, well, it's not entirely my fault. I mean, it is, but it isn't. And he's also a very. You can obviously see that there are elements of mental illness because he's very quick to just shut people out and then bring them back. Like, the way I operate is like, once you put someone out, don't bring them back into your life. He's just very erratic and very sporadic and very, very passive aggressive. And it's clear that he does not have extraordinary. It's clear that his communication skills, he struggles with communication, even though he's extraordinarily articulate. But here's the thing: we confuse a BSer with extraordinary articulation. He is articulate, but he is an extraordinary BSer. And George Carlin said this. He said, never argue with stupid people because they will defeat you. They will beat you with experience. And he has extraordinary amounts of experience defeating people with stupidity, with nonsensical thought. And he knows how to gaslight, he knows how to hustle, and he knows how to finesse. All right. And if you argue with him, you will more than likely lose, because you are not arguing with someone who is going to be open to your perspectives. What you're actually dealing with is someone who is trying to forcibly indoctrinate you and divert from any real points that you're making, any real valuable points that you're making, to drive home their absolute nonsense, absolute and utter nonsense and degeneracy.
But I think for the most part, like, if you feel yourself being very impatient with something, you just have to like have an instant of gratitude, and you can force yourself feeling more positive about it.
I don't 100% disagree. I would qualify it a little bit. Like, you can have like feelings and then responses to those feelings. And if you enact like certain behaviors, or if you try to have like certain thoughts in response to feelings, you can slowly change the feelings. I think like that. Yeah, there's like a feedback loop there, that if anytime you feel this way about a particular person or thing, you just think like, okay, maybe this isn't the best way. I need to view this a little bit differently. If you do that, that process, I think over time can change your thoughts. Yeah.
Was there any financial impact of having a divorce?
No, just good. I just have to worry about myself now, I would say. Yeah.
Interesting. So it wasn't like expensive. You didn't have to pay out anything.
I think I paid like $2,000 for an attorney and all the filing fees or whatever. Yeah.
That's really fascinating.
It was a no contest divorce. I mean, it's super cheap. Yeah.
You hear a lot of people say, oh, you're going to lose half.
Yeah. Most people are fucking retarded. Why would you should never lose. Losing half implies there's a whole bunch of, first of all, only 10% of marriages, the end of them even involve alimony. Division of assets is probably a good thing. You should be dividing assets. You probably should be losing half, because you're losing half your part.
Now notice, this is a man who ended up losing absolutely nothing in the divorce because it was a no contest divorce. But now he's saying that a man should end up losing half of his assets. You should lose half because you're dividing half of the marriage, even though he did not lose half of everything, and he went and got an attorney. This is what I'm talking about: royal gaslighting. This is a person who has no empathy for men, no empathy in general. He's yet, of course, this is the type of lifestyle that he lives. This is the reason why you don't argue with someone like this, because they will defeat you with experience. They will speak nonsense and defeat you with absolute amounts of experience spouting these nonsensical views. I mean, it's just mind blowing how he continues down this path indefinitely. Indefinitely. I mean, if that's the way that you felt, bro, why didn't you give her half? Why didn't you offer her half? Oh, simple, because he didn't want to lose any of your money. But of course, even though he doesn't want to go through that, he wants to push it on other men. He wants other men to go through that. And Destiny is a millionaire. He's one of the wealthiest streamers in the world, and yet he would demand that other than men who did not experience, that have a completely different experience should end up losing half of everything. You've got to be kidding me.
Used to acquire those assets, right? If you're a man and you work and the only reason you were able to afford that house because a wife stayed home and took care of kids, then yeah, of course she should be entitled to something. Like she sacrificed her entire career and enabled you and empowered you to go and work that job. I mean, I think you should, yeah.
Do you regret having your relationship so public?
No, everything in my life is public.
I will also point out that he's like trying to say that the only times when women actually get alimony during a divorce is like 10% of the time. Yeah, I highly doubt that. I highly doubt that. He also doesn't mention the child support. He doesn't mention the child support. He doesn't mention, the effects of division of assets. He doesn't talk about the attorney fees. He's like, oh, all I spent was $2,000. Okay, yeah, the average man who doesn't have anywhere close to the millions of dollars this guy has often loses way more than $2,000 in attorney fees. Like these guys. These are the people I tell you about. There are men who don't know any better. There are men who are like, they're simps because they don't know any better. And then there are the group of men who betray other men. They know exactly what they're doing. They do not care because they do not like us. They are agents of the state, and they are rewarded by the state for betraying men, betraying masculinity. They are rewarded by the state with access to resources and access to kitty. Okay? It's the honest to goodness truth. And the average man today does not really like any other men. They just want women, they just want kitty, and they want money. And that's why most men today, one of the reasons why most men today have very few close male friends, because it's just not worth it. It's exhausting. And most people are just looking to get something out of you, including men. That's why so many guys are now, they're walking away or just go outright going their own way. And they're choosing to become hermits and avoid relationships with men, women, and society as a whole. So it's not like they're like, oh, I'm just done with women. No, because, women will attack men and say, oh, you're just a bunch of little boys and, you're scared of women and you're blah, blah, and you're toxic because you don't want to date or marry anymore. But these same men are not having relationships with other men. They'll try to talk bad about a man's sexuality and try to suggest that he's into dudes. But the reality is he has no close male friends. So he has no male friends. He has no female. He has no women in his life. He doesn't have a wife. He doesn't want to get married. Doesn't have children. Doesn't want to have children. But he doesn't have any support at all. But because they could care less about the fact that he really doesn't have any male friends. But the fact is that because he's rejecting the concept of marriage, he's rejecting the concept of monogamy, and a woman will no longer be able to extract wealth and resources from him. They are going to then attack him and bash him because they only see us as ATMs and from us, and they just want our attention. They want our time. They want our money, but they don't actually want us because they do not like us. They can like certain things about us. They can like how tall we are. They can like how we look. They can like certain qualities that we have. They can like our resources. They can like our jobs. They can like our status, but they will never like us. Okay? They will never like us or accept us for who we are because they are wired differently from we are.
Married again?
I don't know. I'm not like a big marriage guy. We got married because she needed the green card to live in the US because I don't want to have a long distance relationship. That sucks.
Right.
So yeah. But I'm not like a huge marriage dude. And hopefully I don't have any more European brides. So,
And you think the next relationships that you get into will be open?
Almost for sure, yeah.
Almost for sure.
Yeah.
I still can't help believe what I mentioned the first time you came on the show, which was I feel like the standards for levels of attraction and love and intimacy are just lower for the people that have open relationships. Because I can't imagine myself. I haven't been this way my entire life. I don't plan on being this way for the rest of my life where, I find somebody and I'm happy to share this person with a bunch of other people. Like, I feel like I just kind of want them for myself and I want them to want me for themselves.
Okay.
What do you think about this?
Sounds super boring. I don't even think.
You see, what we see from Destiny is the Jezebel spirit. The Jezebel spirit does not inhibit only women. The Jezebel spirit also inhibits men. It is a wicked and evil spirit of Queen Jezebel. She was a very bad person. She even had a chance to repent, evidently, before her demise, and she was so wicked that she refused to. She knew beforehand how that hey, things were not going to end nicely for her, and she still would not repent. And that's how most simps are. A lot of simps are. They'll say that they had no control over themselves, so they refuse when they did all of these things as simps. So they will not repent because they had no control over themselves or they didn't know any better. Just because you did not know any better does not mean that you are not responsible for your actions or that you don't need to take accountability for them. And you could see that they have that feminine energy. They have that female energy in them. All right. They have the Jezebel spirit within them. It inhibits them, it controls them. And even when they say that they have changed, they have not changed. Because if you do not repent, if you refuse to repent, then you have not truly changed because you are not accepting your responsibility and the role that you played in the situation. You're not acknowledging that regardless of what happened and how it happened and why it happened, you're still the one who did these actions. You're still the one who did these things. It's still your responsibility, and you have to take accountability and make penance and even face some and may even have to face consequences. But ultimately, you have to take accountability because accountability and responsibility go hand in hand. What these people want are special privileges. So, while they want special privileges, while the average man is given special punishments. And I've said this before, and that's how Sims operate. That's why they operate as agents of the state, because they are given special privileges while the average man is given special punishments. They are given special privileges for betraying men, betraying masculinity, and damning humanity. This is how these men operate. And that's why you have to focus on your money, focus on your wealth, focus on building up a good reserve of crypto and watching that grow. Learn how to day trade crypto so that you can have money waiting for you over time. Not, men, I'll put it this way. No man has ever lost women chasing money, but so many men have lost money chasing women. Ask you something. When the banks collapse, and trust me, it's coming, will you be ready? Imagine waking up to ATMs that don't work, bank doors chained shut, and millions of people left with nothing. No cash, no access to their savings, and no way to survive. But it doesn't have to be that way for you. That's why I created Angry's Crypto Academy to teach you everything you need to know about crypto so you can protect yourself and your family. You'll learn how to buy, sell, and even day trade crypto for a living. Plus, we alert you to new crypto trends so you can profit before everyone else even knows what's happening. Right now, I've just published an exclusive investment guide inside the Academy, and it's linked in the description below. In it, I reveal the one coin that could make you a millionaire. A coin so revolutionary, it could change everything. If you missed out on Bitcoin and Ethereum, this is your second chance. This isn't just about financial freedom, it's about survival. When the system collapses and everyone else is selling, you'll be the one buying, prepared to weather the storm and thrive while others struggle to survive. Don't wait. This knowledge isn't optional, it's critical. The link's in the description. Go check it out now.
The
I
standards
want this
for
person to
intimacy
want
and-
me for themselves. It's like not like when I'm with somebody, I'm never thinking like intimately, like, God, I'm so happy that she just wants me and not anybody else.
Right,
It's
but
just
the-
not like a thing that's ever in my head, I
But
guess.
the reason you're not even feeling that in the first place, it's like these deep emotional feelings about somebody else. That's what I'm saying. There's like a deeper level of intimacy or connection.
What does that have to do with whether or not they're with somebody else when they're not with you?
I think what Jack's trying to say is if you had like maybe a deeper connection or a deeper.
I'm saying like I think that
Yeah.
the connections are slightly more shallow in open relationships because of what is okay for it to happen in a relationship.
Okay. I mean, I could just say I think the connections in monogamous relationships are way more shallow because if that person is with anybody else, all of a sudden, everything you feel about that person is like now held at risk.
So this is a guy who's firmly against monogamy, and despite what he's done and how he's lived, he will learn nothing and he will continue trying to drag people down to the pits of hell. What do you guys think? Do you agree that karma finally caught up with him, and that it's only going to be a continued hardship from here? He'll never learn anything. He will never fully reflect, and he will continue to blame others and to gaslight along the way. Let me know. And this is just how that's the life cycle of an SIMP. Let me know your thoughts. We'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA. Men walking away, and cheers.
Nothing says you care like crypto. Nothing can compare. Nothing says you care like crypto. Oh, nothing can compare to crypto.